Good afternoon, viewers. Today we are going to talk about psychological care of people suspected of having COVID. Or it could be that they already have the symptoms, or it could be that they are already isolated, or it could be that they are in quarantine, or it could be that they are already discharged. As we are aware that it has become very dangerous pandemic for all of us, and mortality is very high among elderly. Solutions can be found, but we are all struggling at the moment. There is fear of uncertainty, stigma, non-availability of standard treatment, and large-scale quarantine measures are fueling the mental pressure. Physical symptoms we all are aware: cough, fever, sore throat. Psychological symptoms are very painful: anxiety, fear, depression, denial, anger outburst, post-traumatic stress disorder, and stigma. Psychological symptoms are commonly seen among patients, their family members, their family caregivers, healthcare providers. Now, anxiety is very high because nobody knows what's going to happen. There's lack of research, lack of evidence-based treatment, and we don't know what is going to come in future. Disability is another question mark. Stigma, isolation, and so many other things we can think of. If we pick up the newspaper, we can just make out that how many problems can be there, anticipated or unanticipated. So there can be fear of unknown. There is panic everywhere. We have seen example of Italy and Spain. Normally when we have fear, we want to run away from that situation. But here is something which is happening. When we are so fearful, we are being isolated and we are alone, or we are in quarantine. So we cannot share our concerns with anyone. Closeness with others, closeness with near ones is prohibited because social distancing is going to help us to prevent spread of infection. So depression is one of the problems that occur most of the time when people stay in isolation for a very long time, and there could be stigma. Then there is mostly denial when something is happening. Mostly the first reaction will be, no, it's not happening to me. It cannot happen to me. Now, because of that, there is a reason why people may be uncaring towards themselves. They may be not taking care of all the precautions for themselves, such as washing hands carefully, or such as using mask, or such as keeping distance. Especially in the family situation, it becomes very difficult to maintain your protocols for self-care, for care of others. And it becomes worse when somebody is sick in the family and you have to isolate them within the family. Now this denial period, if it is for a very long time, that will result in very bad effect, because the person will not be able to see the reality, and it may become very difficult to adjust later on. Now, very prolonged isolation, very prolonged lockout, very prolonged quarantine, and these things happening as if it is going to continue, it's not going to stop. It will, lot of restrictions, do's and don'ts, continuously bombarding on the people, not to do this, not to do this, and to do this, and lot of anger is there. So many people are spreading rumors. You read the rumors, that also create anger. So basically it is helplessness which create anger outburst. Post-traumatic stress disorder can occur following any type of trauma. So here the trauma can be physical, it can be psychological, it can be social. So we have different type of trauma here. We have never been separated from our family. Now when you put in quarantine, you are suddenly separated from your family. You are not prepared for it. So every situation in pandemic of corona has become a reason for a person to develop post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, stigma here is manifold because it seems like you have done a mistake of going abroad and you have come back with some infection. You have done mistake of socializing. You have done mistake of talking normally with people with close distance. You have done mistake of touching them. You have done mistake of giving them infection. So it's like so many fingers are pointed at you as if you have done it knowingly, intentionally. You might not have done anything intentionally. You might have done whatever you have done is because you are not even aware that what is happening to you. Then the police will come and put some notice on your home. Everybody will come to know. The ambulance will come and take you for testing. All these things are worrying the people so much that they don't want to come out of the house, and they don't want to share that they have visited abroad, or they don't want to share that they have exposure, because they are thinking that society will stigmatize them. There was example of one air hostess who is working in airline. So the people started ill-treating her mother when she goes to the market. So people don't want to share and tell. There is a lot of stigma because of lack of knowledge. People are ignoring you, neglecting you, or sometimes abusing you, or sometimes even treating you very badly, such as asking the people like nurses, doctors to leave the house, rented accommodation, asking paying guest person to leave the house. So suddenly so many people who were so happy till yesterday have developed so much of fear of so many kinds that this will take a toll on their psychological health. Now let us look at the isolation and quarantine. How does it affect the mental health of a person? Now here we are separating sick person having contagious disease from healthy people with those who don't have the contagious disease. And quarantine restricts the movement of people who are exposed to contagious disease to see if they become sick. Isolation and quarantine help to protect the public by preventing exposure to people who may have or may not have contagious disease. Both are very important steps in prevention and spread of COVID-19 infection. But isolation can be extremely frightening and anxiety-provoking experience. See, look at ourselves nowadays. We are so active socially. We are so active outside, and suddenly you are put in isolation. It disrupts the normal routine, gives stress-resulting emotional and behavioral manifestations, create feelings of loneliness, stigma, depression, keeps a person away from familiar objects and routine, which may evoke fear, anxiety, depression, rapid mood swings. Due to infectious disease effects, the attitude of hospital staff, which is in turn affects their care. That is another thing. The patient thinks that the family is also treating them differently. The hospital is also treating them differently. So when we are taking care of such people, we have to make sure that organize isolation room in such a way that environment becomes as normal as possible. Not like hospital setting, but it should be very much close to their natural environment. Staff should encourage patients to express their negative feelings associated with being in isolation. Because if they express, then at least we will know they are afraid of what. We can clarify their doubts so that prompt strategies can be implemented. Relieving boredom is very important aspect. Anybody not having anything to do, nothing to say, and nobody to talk to, and nobody to meet, and no socialization, no routine, it becomes very difficult not to be bored. So encourage use of TV, radio, newspaper, other audiovisual devices, music, etc. Use of information leaflets can be given that can help them to read through how it is helping others if they are isolated, how it is helping others not to get infected. So they can develop some more knowledge on and feel good that if they are isolated, they are doing something good for others. Communication. Allow patient to do frequent phone calls and video conferencing if it is available.